down in Chula Vista Adult School.
My name is Anel Martinez. I'm the CT resource teacher for Sweetwater Adult School, and we're very excited to be here with you this morning.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Okay. Could you, I want to, because I see myself very little, I can't really see. Is there any way I could be bigger or no?
Yes.
Ah, there it is. That's too big. Now I look fat. Not really. I'm just playing around. Okay. Hi, everybody. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen at home, and I do the culinary program at Chula Vista Adult School. I came from Montgomery too. Okay, so that's school that's from Montgomery, and now I'm a teacher. And not only am I a teacher, but I also teach for environmental health, and I also have I taught at and I'm still in the process of that, teaching at the jails. So I work for this for the state, and for you guys here, I'm going to be doing pan de sal. Okay, I'm going to show you a little example of what I do. Now, I've been in the industry since I was 16 years old. I'm old. So it's over 30-something years. I'm going to tell you my age, but over something years, I've been in the industry. So my style is probably a little bit different than everybody else's. The way I got this recipe is through a Filipino, through one of my students. I wasn't used to pan de sal. I'm used to birote, which is a Mexican bread that we use all the time. So I've been inspired from some of my students that have given me recipes. And I love the adobo pork. I love lumpias, and my pan de sal is my favorite, right? So I incorporate what they teach me, and then I do it my style. And it's the simplest thing you can make. And there's a lot of people that I have in my classroom, and they do it from home now. I sent the recipe with you guys. Hopefully you guys have it with you. And just this is a little example of what you will be learning in one of our culinary classes, okay? So the recipe is right here, and I'm gonna start, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me, okay? So the first thing I do, I'm kind of different. I don't separate everything. Like I said, I've been in industry for many years, so when I do a recipe, it's like 200 pounds, 500 pounds even. So we don't sift, we don't do all that stuff. We throw everything in the machine. So I'm gonna do the style that there is in the industry, okay? So what you do, we're gonna get a stand-up mixer. I have my dough hook. You must need your dough hook. And I'm gonna put the water. On this recipe, it says 2 cups of water. 2 cups of water. Now, if you wanna hurry up the recipe, you can put warm water in there. Not hot, because then you'll kill the yeast. But warm water will make it rise faster if it's a cold day or something, okay? We're gonna put then 6 cups of flour. Now, when you do something at home compared to in a job, I'm doing by cups here, right? At a job, it would be by weight. That's why sometimes our recipes don't come out as good as in a job, because we all weigh, we all measure cups differently. So in a job, everything's weighed out. There's no way that you can have more or less than other things, okay? The other thing I'm gonna use is yeast, okay? This is a big one. This one you could get at, excuse me, at Smart and Final, costs like $3.99, and this is a lot. Let me tell you, this is a lot. So if you do get this one, put in the refrigerator and it'll last a lot longer. So I'm gonna use one. Okay, this is one of the things I looked at my recipe and I go, oh, I did it. I showed them how to put four of yeast, okay? The reason I put 4 of yeast on this recipe is because I do it in my classroom. And in my classroom, I only have a certain amount of time to teach. Bread making takes longer for it to rise and all that, so I hurry up everything. That's why it says 4. If you're at home and you got the time, only put 1 tablespoon of yeast. If you gotta hurry it up, then I would put 4, okay? That's the reason. So it's up to you how you wanna do your pan de sal. So I got that going, I got the yeast. Let's go for the sugar. I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of sugar. Get my cup, and I do a 1/4 cup of sugar. Very easy. Put that in there. Then the oil is gonna say a 1/4 cup of oil, and that's what I'll do. Put it in there. Salt. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. One of the things is, I was reading, what did I need from high school to go into the culinary business? Math. You do need math in the culinary business, okay? So we do a lot of math. So be aware of that. Now, everything's in here. That's everything. Now I'm just gonna put it into my mixer and mix it up around 5 minutes, okay? Start it off on slow to incorporate everything, and then we turn it up on high. When the bowl comes out clean, it means it's ready. Sorry, it's gonna take around 5 minutes to do that, like around 5 minutes. Again, if you want it a little bit faster, you put warm water. If you want it to be done for later on, you put cold water. In a job, what we do, we even put ice water in it to hold it until the following day. It's better that way because it incorporates all the taste better, the gases, and it's better the following day. So it's fresh, but it's been in the refrigerator all night long. Okay. Now, like I said, sometimes when you do a recipe at home, why doesn't it come out? We all measure differently when it's the flour. A little bit more, a little bit less does affect it. So what you do, you look at it and say, okay, I need a little bit more flour. Just throw it in there and it'll mix up. If it's too hard, put a little bit of water in. So that's not really messing up, okay? And that's what you do. So I'm looking right here. I need a little bit more flour. I'm gonna put it in there and then it'll fix itself up. Any questions so far? Anybody? Everything's
Maria.
good? You understanding everything? Okay. If I talk too fast, tell me because I tend to talk a lot, okay? Just raise your hand on anything. And basically, this is the way you make bread. The French bread, sourdough bread, any bread, same thing. And put it in the machine. If you don't have the machine, of course, if you don't have the machine, then you can do it by hand. I don't do things by hand because I have always made 100 pounds, 200 pounds, and up in jail, of course, it's like 400 pounds, right? So we don't do it by hand. But at home you can, and it's practice makes perfect. And everything we do, practice makes perfect. You know how that is, okay? So I'm just waiting for this to go. Okay, I did make some bread yesterday, so I can show it because we wouldn't have time. When the bread comes out, I'll show you the size of the bread. Okay, this is one recipe. Okay, I did it earlier because it needed to proof up, and I had to put it and let it rise. Right? You're gonna see the size of the other one. And I can finish it off over here. I bring it down. Just making sure you guys can see everything. I take it off here. And then I throw some on my counter. Okay. And I'm the kind of person, when I go into a bakery, I look around. I went to Valeria's bakery and I'm looking in the background, seeing how they're making their pan de sal. So I kind of learn by looking at other people do it also. Okay, so this is the dough. And I'm gonna put it on here. And it's good to just spray it, okay, so it won't stick to the bottom. And just leave it like that. I want you to see the difference, okay? When it doubles in size, you see how it doubled in size? It means it's ready for it to be processed. So this is gonna take me around an hour for it to rise. If I put it in the oven, turn on my oven, turn it off, make it warm, I put some plastic over it, see that? And then I'll put it in my oven that has previously been warm, not hot, warm. And then it'll rise that way. Always put a little plastic on it so it will not dry up if you don't want it to dry up, okay? So let me turn on my oven.
Maria,
Yeah.
When you say warm, what degree exactly is that? Like, what do you
Well,
put it to?
It's probably less than 200. Because my oven here has a proofer method, and I put proofer. So it's very warm, but not hot, because then it dries up. Okay.
Okay.
So,
And then another question, why would we let it rise before baking?
oh, because if you don't, the bread is hard, and you always let it rise twice. Okay. Not only once, you have to let it rise twice. If you only let it rise once, it becomes hard, and you'll see that. I'll show you that. That's why you need to incorporate those air bubbles. Those air bubbles is what makes the bread really nice and soft. Okay. Also, with the Filipino pan de sal, I put oil instead of shortening. If I'm going to do French bread or birote, I'll use shortening or lard for mine. But I saw that the Filipinos use oil, makes it softer. Okay. Now, one of the questions I have, and hopefully somebody could answer it. I've been asking all my students, and I've been asking everybody I know, why is it called pan de sal? Because that means bread of salt. And pan de sal is not salty. It is a little bit sugary. So maybe at the end, somebody could help me out with that one. I've looked on the internet too. Okay, so your bread is done. Okay, look at how easy this is, okay? Let me show the camera again, sorry. My bread is done. This is a dough cutter, okay? All bakers have to have one. I got this at the 99-cent store. So they're not expensive. You can go there and you can get one of these. Okay. I take my dough. Okay. I am not going to take out all the air. Okay. And then throw it out there. And then I push it in. See how I'm pushing it in? Okay. Wrapping it up. That's taking out all the air. See that? Taking all the air. Do not just punch it out. You work with the air in order to make shapes. If it was round, it would be different. So this is the coolest thing because I saw a baker doing this at Valerio. So I kind of looked around and I saw what they're doing. Okay. So they make them like a big snake. You see that? Take my dough hook and then do this. Look at how easy that is. Okay, you don't have to roll it, you don't have to do nothing, just cut it. Now, what I do with some students, because we don't have a scale, usually we have a cutter or we have a scale by us to tell us how big they should be. You could do it this way, two fingers, and then cut. 2 fingers and then cut. That way, your pan de sal is the same size all the time. Okay, once that is done, oh, I don't have it. Here, let me put this one over here. That one, I'll do this one. Okay. And this is a little one. This is a quarter sheet. We have half a sheet and then we have a full sheet. The full sheet does not fit into a regular oven. And the half a sheet I left at school, but I have this one. So all you have to do is put them on here. See that? The last one over here. And again. See that? Then you put plastic over it. Just like that, because you don't want them to dry. You could leave them out in the rice, or you can put it in the oven. Very, very, not hot, but warm. And they're going to start to rise. When they rise, oh, I forgot. People like to put breadcrumbs on it. Not everybody does, but if you're going to put breadcrumbs, now is the time to put it on. And you buy breadcrumbs. Whoops, I bought these. Okay. And then you just put a little bit of breadcrumbs on the top. Like that. And then they're going to stick to it. Okay. So that is going to be left there. And when they rise, maybe they'll rise when we're doing this presentation. If they don't, oh well. Okay. The other thing I was going to show you, pan de sal could be different methods. Now, around 15 years ago, my students told me ube is something that they love, right? Something that the culture is very into. So they brought me this little powder and they brought me this little liquid. So we started putting into the pan de sal and make ube pan de sal. Okay. Me, because I've done this all my life, I look at it and what else could I do? So I make these. Okay, these are pan de sal too. And what I do, you cut it, it's got cheese inside of it. I could also put any kind of food in it. I could put that cheese, put some pineapple in it and put it. I could also get coconut, nuts and sugar and butter, put it. Oh guys, that one tastes really good. And that, the method to doing that, I get a cupcake mold. I squeeze these down. See how I'm squeezing them down? And then I get my cheese or whatever you want to put in there. Okay, I have even put, what is it, adobo in there. Stick it in, squeeze it, pinch them, and then put them in here. Spray them, of course, always spray it, or you can even put it in a cupcake mold, a cupcake container thing. Put them in there. When they rise over, bake them, and you get these little cupcake kind of a deal like that. But the best thing about baking, let me tell you something, is the fact that you can freeze it. So say you want to do a business. I got it here. Say you want to do a business. You know what? Well, how could I start a business from home? Well, now, luckily in the San Diego, you can start off a business from home baking. So what do? I take my pan de sal and I freeze it. Right now, I can't put them together because they'll stick. So I freeze them separately. And once they are frozen, see how they're like rocks? Okay. You could put them in bags like this and sell them by the dozen. And what do they have to do? Just put them on the pan, let them rise and bake them. And you got fresh pan de sal every day. Now remember, the holidays are coming up. So this is a method of kind of selling them to everybody. And say, hey, I'm starting off a business. I'm going to start selling pan de sal. All you have to do is put them out and give them the instructions. And that's how easy it is. So me, if I know I'm going to be baking bread, okay, if I know I'm going to be baking bread for the holidays, I would start now because we make so much, we freeze it. So a lot of people don't know this, but when you go into a bakery on the holidays and you're buying the dinner rolls or the bread, they didn't make it that morning. They made them before, we freeze them, we rise them, and then we bake them, and that's how we sell them, okay?
Maria, question from somebody. Would we add a wash to the pan de sal?
No, you know what? The egg wash is not for pan de sal. It will come out shiny, and I've never seen a shiny pan de sal. So when you egg wash them, it comes out like glossy and like a little crust over it. And pan de sal is not that way. Pan de sal is kind of dull because I've done it both ways. And my students, because they're the ones experts on this, because I did not grow up making pan de sal, they told me, no, it has to be dull. So that's how I do it. No egg wash, no steam on it, and that's it. Now, the recipe I gave you was given to me by a student, but then I had another student that gave me another one that had pudding inside of it. Then another one gave me another one that has egg inside of it. So there are different forms of it, okay? There's only not one recipe. I always pick the one, to me, that I like the best and is the cheapest and that I can sell for profit, okay? I try not to put so much money into a product that they're gonna buy so I can sell it at a good price, okay? And as you can see, this is the easiest one. Of all the breads, I think pan de sal is the easiest because you just cut it, boom, 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 boom. Other ones, oh my God, you have to make it a roll and you have to stuff them. but this one is like so easy. So see, this one I had to roll them, okay? On the side, you don't have to roll them, you just turn it on the side and they're done. So that's what I like about pan de sal. And the taste is delicious. Yesterday I made some at night. It was already 11 o'clock at night. I ate 4 of them. I just couldn't pass it by. Butter on it, oh, the best. Okay, any questions now?
I went ahead and I just put in the chat the link to the recipe that you had in your hands. So, so it's in the chat if you guys would like the recipe in case you didn't get it.
And the other thing is, guys, because I've been in industry before, when I teach my students, because if you go into a place, and I've already been told by places, teach them the way it is, and you try to separate everything, get a little teaspoon of salt, a quarter cup of sugar, the vanilla. So you're using so many trays, you know, then you have to wash all those, okay? So in the bakery business, it's a big mixer like that. We put the water, everything on it, and the machine does all the work for you. The other way around, you have to be looking for all these little trays and all that. And after that, you have to wash everything. So the less work you have to involve in it is better as a business. At home, completely different.
Okay, so the recipe doesn't say anything about rising the dough. Is it on there, rising?
I know. That's this is my old recipes, and when you're in my classroom, you're taking a lot of notes, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then we're making it. So now that I'm teaching the method I'm teaching with the English and all that, I gotta perfect my recipes in that way. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna put it in there because I created it. So how long does it take to rise? So rise the dough for how long?
And that's the problem, Audrey. If it's summertime, it'll probably take around 20 minutes. If it's wintertime, probably takes an hour. If your house is cold, it's gonna rise slower. If it's very hot, it's all on the temperatures. In a job, we have a proofer. A proofer is a place where you put all your breads and there's a humidity in there. So you don't have to cover it with the plastic or nothing like that because it's got little water in there and it rises it. So us as bakers, we see it when it's double, it's time to put it into the oven. At home, the problem is, you know, you live at different places and there's different temperatures. So it affects the bread, it does. So as long as it doubles, it doesn't matter if it's an hour or less than an hour, as long as it's double, it's ready to put into the oven.
Must double in size, right?
Must double in size.
Twice or only one time? You said it has to rise twice?
So yes, it's a good point. Where's my other one? Okay. This one is still not ready. Remember the first one?
Mm-hmm.
It has to double. So it has to rise once. Then you form it, and then it rises again.
Okay.
And then you bake it.
Okay.
Because if I were to bake this one, the one I just cut, it's hard. It doesn't have airs in it. So it'll be hard. Because twice, you got to let it rise.
Okay.
Did I make myself understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll say, how many pieces does the recipe yield?
This recipe gives you around, I say, let me show you I didn't give you the end result. Okay, sorry. So these, look at the size. Okay, so they rise and I put them in there. This, because I made 2 other ones, would be around a dozen to 14, a good size one. Because these are exactly kind of like the store. But the cool thing is you have a choice of how big you want them or how small. Sometimes it's too much, so you could cut them in half. So this recipe, a regular pan de sal, would be around a dozen to like 14 of them.
Okay.
I should put that, yeah. But do you see the color and everything? And then they're perfect. The bread is perfect. Nice, fluffy, soft. I had a student of mine that they taught him, but it took so long. And he would come into school and I taught him how to do it. He would do it every single day. I mean, because that was the morning routine. Pan de sal with coffee. So he started making it, I kid you not, for the whole semester, we had fresh pan de sal the first hour. He became so good at it. He goes, Maria, at parties, everybody asks me for them. I do them for everything. Now I'm teaching. So it really, he loved it. He did it over and over. He was better than me at the end because he kept doing it every single day. So he now he sells it for the holidays, okay? Because the holidays, everybody wants pan de sal.
So another question is, can you use, because people are gluten-free, can you use another type of flour to make pan de sal?
You know what? I put there bread flour, right? Bread flour. I use AP or bread flour, or you can make them with wheat, half wheat, not half wheat. If you got, it's a third. So if you got 3 cups, 1 would be wheat. On this one, it would be 2 cups of wheat flour, and then the other bread flour for it to be nice and soft. If you use a lot of wheat flour, they become harder. That's why. Now, gluten, now that honestly, guys, I haven't been able to do it that way. I haven't. So if anybody does, but I haven't.
Yeah, I think because the texture of pan de sal is so specific and that it would ruin, I mean, you could make something, but it wouldn't necessarily be the pan de sal that you grew up with.
To be a variation of it, but not the kind of pan de sal that you guys grew up in, of course. And the first time I tasted pan de sal was, I was probably in 4th grade. I had Filipino friends. Oh shoot, my battery is dying here. Okay, and I mean, one of the things I gotta say about the Filipino culture, they have so much food at parties. Oh my God. I love going to her house all the time because she had pancit. Oh, pancit, the thin one. I tried it and it came like glue. But I mean, so many things that are so delicious. And they when there's a party, it's everything. And that's how I got introduced to the Filipino culture.
Okay, and next question. Are you able to do the recipe without a bread mixer?
Yes, you do it by hand. You do it by hand. It takes a little bit more time, but of course you can. You have to knead it and mix it and all that, of course.
Okay.
But I do it with the machine because it's so much faster and you don't hurt your arms,
So somebody is asking, how has the Filipino culture influenced your career?
Well, you know what? Since I'm teaching now, it has, because like I said, now I do ube cheesecake. I put ube in a lot of things, Now I'm teaching in the morning. I do a culinary class for people that want to go work into the district or something fast. And I learned how to finally make my adobo pork. So it has influenced me on the type of breads that I'm making, the type of foods that I'm making. And like I said, I even studied the Filipino culture because when we make a bread, I tell them where it comes from, and we study a little bit of the culture of what we're making.
Thank you. Do you need to go through culinary school to be a good chef or baker?
No, you don't. Honestly, it's your attitude and what you want to do. The most important thing, if you go to culinary school, you always start as a prep, and you work yourself up. Some have that attitude and some don't. Doesn't matter if you come out of the New York, Gordon Blue, if your attitude ain't there, it's all up to you what you want. The reason I started this is because I'm not very good at academics. I was a talker at school. I was a social queen and, so I went into the bakery. That was my first job. And I stayed there for 10 years and I was good at it. So when I needed insurance, I moved over to a company where they had insurance. And that's one of my advice I would give to all the young kids right now. Try to work. If you could do, your own business, of course, go for it. Learn in a bakery and get ideas from everybody. But when you're finally going to work and what you want, if you're going to go into a company, go into the state as a teacher in cafeterias, because there's ways to go up. Don't think there is not. How about the city? They have good benefits and jobs where they have insurance and 401k plans. When we're young, we don't think about those things. But when you're older, you realize, oh man, I should have got into here. Because I went to a small bakery where I learned my basic techniques, and they had no insurance, no benefits, no nothing. Those 10 years could have went into my 401k when I was working at Bonds, you know what I mean? And my retirement would have been a whole lot better, let me tell you. So you have to think about what's ahead of you.
Okay. Any other questions? You can put them in the chat or, okay. What do you know now that you wish you knew during your time at school?
Okay, I'm a talker, social butterfly. I didn't really pay attention to school. I'd rather have friends than go to school. So I regret some of the things that I did because it would have helped me now. What was the question? I went into something else now. What was the question? I'm sorry.
It was, what do you know now that you wish you would have known during your time at school?
That there's a lot of help for you guys, okay? I had no clue about adult ed. If you're gonna go into something, check out adult ed. It doesn't cost that much money, and it gives you a first-hand look at what you wanna do. And if it's not a career for you, change it and go into another adult school program before you go and pay that money to the culinary programs. I have had people that have paid $45,000, $50,000 for culinary schools, and they got the same job as somebody else. You know what I mean? So look at that. There's lots of help. You got counselors. Man, the only time I went to a counselor is because I got in trouble, not because I wanted to do something better and to teach me or special help. I think I got lost in between, and I never told nobody because of my character. I don't want to show that I'm less than somebody. So I never told them that I wasn't really good at this or really good at math. So I never got that extra help, and I wish I would have. And coming from parents that have never been in school here, and they didn't speak English, they never went to check up on us. They never did. So I'm not going to tell you what I would do, you know, to my report cards. And I would just take them to my parents and say, oh, good, you're doing good. But never did they come around school to check. Not because they didn't love us, because I grew up in a very good family. It was because they had no knowledge of that. And now that I'm an adult, I have the knowledge and more working in the school district. Oh.
I think her battery ended up going out. So just to wrap it up, Leonard, what time do we have to end today?
Let me check. 10:50.
10:50, okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Martinez, do you want to jump in? And Mrs. Martinez is our CTE resource teacher. So would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you for being here with us this morning. If you're interested in looking into our different culinary programs, I wonder if you can help me by putting my email in the chat and Maria's email in the chat as well.
Sure.
We do have culinary programs. We have the Nutritional Services Cafeteria semester course, which is a 9-week course. So you can take this course with Ms. Gonzalez and complete a CT certification. And with that, you can become, so you can work in restaurants, and you can also work at the district level in the cafeteria. Also, there is the culinary baking courses. We have 2 courses that also are articulated to Southwestern College, where you receive 3 units of college credit. And with those courses, you can also have the basic foundation for a pastry chef. And so if you're interested in learning more about those programs, please do seek us out. We'll be happy to assist you. Our culinary courses have no fee to them at this moment. And also we provide all the digital curriculum. Now our culinary bread courses and pastries are a little bit different than the 9-week course. Those are 18-week courses. You also get a certification at the end of the semester with mastering those competencies. And from what I've learned from Ms. Maria Gonzalez is the following, that as you're asking questions about chef, many times you get a certification through the adult school, you go on to work to the restaurant. Not only have you learned the competencies with us, but you will also, once you go out into the workforce, say you go to a specific restaurant, learn their recipe. So you'll be able to add from there. And based on the amount of hours and the experience that you have working in industry, within time, you can actually test out of the chef examination because you have that experience. But again, you have to be really involved in industry and learning so that you can practice that and understand the theory and the hands-on as well.
Mrs. Martinez, how old do I have to be to go to Mrs. Gonzalez's class?
18 years of age. So we start to, adult students can come into our schools for any CT program or any other academic program at the age of 18. You must be 18 years of age.
Say something in that right now. Those of you who are going into culinary program, there's the savory side and of course the pastry side. It costs more money to get both, okay? And as in the pastry side, we use that knowledge. Like I could do roses, I could do, cakes now. We're talking cakes. And you could combine both of them together. Like in a cruise ship, there's jobs at cruise ships, don't forget that. They'll put breads and then they'll put all the cream cheeses in roses. There's so much crossover with both of them. So if you could take both, it would be even better. Our culinary program, our baking program, I think is excellent at our school. Try it out because it does go hand on hand. Okay.
Last question that we have in the chat is, Ms. Gonzalez, when did you decide to become a chef or a pastry chef?
Well, you know what? Like I said, the fact is that I wasn't that good at school. So I went into a bakery and I started working in the bakery as a counter, and then they taught me how to decorate cakes. So my specialty is decorating wedding cakes, the kind that you see on the shows. Extreme. I've done 5, 6, 7 foot houses, gingerbread houses, or characters, that kind of stuff is my niche. So I started doing that in that field, and it kind of, when I got pregnant, I needed insurance. I went into the Vons, and I became a manager there. With that, they needed people in the school to teach CTE, career technical education. So my sister was working there, and then she called me in, and they liked the way I did it. So I went into teaching. From there, because I know that everybody needs a food handler's card, you start getting smarter as we grow older, okay? I knew that people needed their food handler's cards to get in, so I applied for environmental health to teach from there. And then the jails heard about me. And they called so I could teach inmates how to do it. And that one over there at the jails is an industry, okay? I've done home-based businesses, because that's one of the things I got to tell you. When you become a cake decorator, you could also make money at home. And wherever you go, if you go here, Mexico, China, Hawaii, they always need bakers. They always need people to work in the kitchen. And from home, you can make money. And that's how I made it, because I got divorced, and I needed money. So I started making a lot of cakes at home. So when did I decide that? I think I fell into it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be this. I fell into it. I liked it. And I'm still here. And I'm still learning, because our industry is evolving a lot. So that's the cool things. A lot of stuff on YouTube that you see, we've done it, but we never showed it because there were secrets that you don't want to say. Now everything's out there, So our industry is evolving to something else, and it's going to keep evolving, and we got to keep up with time,
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez.
I don't know when I decided, but I'm in. Okay, I'm here.
Thank you. We are so grateful for you guys, your time. There are no more questions in the chat. Again, I'm a testimony to Maria's baking, because she did my wedding cake, and I don't like cake, and it was the best cake I've ever had. So Thank you. So again, if you want to learn, you can call any of the 4 adult schools. I'll put our web address in the chat. You can go to programs and you can look at all the CTE, all the career trainings that we have available. Any last words, Mrs. Martinez?
No, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We hope that you've enjoyed Maria's presentation. And we look forward, if you have any questions or like to see some of our programs and get more familiar with them, we're here to support you in all that we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leonard, it's all yours.
Thank you, Miss Pace, the chef, and the Miss Deerdorf, for taking time from your busy schedule to talk to high school students. Attendees, thank you for coming to this session. Please refer to the program at tinyurl.com/Magkaisa 2021 for the link to the next session.
Thank you, everybody, and good luck. Hopefully I'll see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.